6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news, edited by Lakshman Fonseca and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. The Prime Minister is to initiate a program to streamline trade with China's Yunnan province. The body of a Sri Lankan woman recovered from the rubble of a destroyed building in Lebanon. Minister Prasanna Ranavira says, changing policy planning with the change of a government negatively affects development. Air rifles issued to farmers to ward off monkeys and giant squirrels from damaging crops. The Examinations Department says that the results of the GCE Ordinary Level Examination will probably be released by mid-November. Meta apologizes for adding terrorist to the biographies of some Instagram users, describing themselves as Palestinian. Steps will be taken to streamline trade with China's Yunnan province and Sri Lanka. A bilateral discussion in this regard was held at the Temple Trees with the participation of the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce in the Yunnan province and the Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena recently. The Prime Minister said the government plans to boost trade in industries such as logistics and cross-border e-commerce with China's Yunnan province. He said the partnership will highlight the willingness of both governments and the private sector in Thailand and Yunnan to collaborate and enhance economic development. The body of a 65-year-old Sri Lankan woman has been recovered from among the rubble of a destroyed building in Lebanon. The Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment said the deceased woman has been identified as I. Premalata from the Mathura area. On Tuesday, the 17th of October, the Sri Lankan Embassy in Beirut confirmed that a Sri Lankan woman was among several persons trapped under the rubble following the collapse of a residential building in Lebanon. The 5-storied building in Mansouriya, Lebanon, collapsed on the 16th of October, leaving only 3 floors standing. Minister Prasanna Ranavira says, changing policy planning with the election of a new government negatively affects the development of the country. He said the officials of the National Physical Plan should take prior approval from the District Development Committee for implementing the National Physical Development Planning. The minister made these remarks at a meeting with the officials of the National Physical Development Planning Department held in Parliament. The minister also said that the plan is in alignment with the President's vision for the country's development by 2048. The National Physical Plan will serve as a blueprint for various key development initiatives, including the construction of highways across the country. The implementation of the program will commence as a 2-year pilot project in the northern and eastern provinces, as well as in the districts of Kandy and Nuwara, the minister added. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Cherished companion of microfinance banking, Samurdhi Community Bank.
The Ministry of Agriculture has taken measures to issue air rifles to farmers to ward off monkeys and giant squirrels from damaging their crops. The project, initiated in Angurapalasa this morning, saw Agriculture Minister Mahinda Amaravira saying that this decision was taken drawing requests made by farmers to protect their crops from the monkeys. The minister said monkeys have learned to penetrate the coconut husk using their long teeth to reach the sweet water of the coconut and damage all other crops too. As the first stage of the program, 268 air rifles have been issued to farmers today. At the function, the farmers said macaws are very clever and are causing numerous damage to all the crops. They said, being playful animals, it literally hangs around under the canopy of the coconut tree, damaging the tender leaves, flowers and young coconuts, depleting the harvest of this prized crop. The Examinations Department says that the results of the GCE Ordinary Level Examination 2022 will probably be released by mid-November. The Examinations Commissioner General Amit Jayasundara said that the Examination Department is engaged in the process of issuing the results and the data entering process is going on. It will take a few weeks and the results will probably be issued by November 25th. The GCE Ordinary Level Examination was held countrywide from the 29th of May to the 8th of June with the participation of about 460,000 candidates.
your closest ally in microfinance banking. The front runner in uplifting low-income households, extending a hand to those aspiring to thrive. Your very own financial institution, Samurdhi Community Bank, with a presence of 1,089 branches throughout the island. Your closest ally in microfinance banking. Your steadfast financial partner, Samurdhi Community Bank.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
The State Minister of Finance Shehan Semasinghe says that measures will be taken to expedite the procedure of restructuring public institutions. At a media briefing held in Anuradhapura, the State Minister pointed out that the restructuring program of loss-making state institutions is currently being carried out successfully. He said the process are carried out in order to provide solutions to the current economic crisis. The State Minister also emphasized that the necessary discussions regarding the foreign debt optimization program are currently underway successfully.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
And now in Watchlight, the number of dengue cases in several areas of the Western Province and in the Kandy district of the Central Province has increased. The National Dengue Control Unit says most of the breeding grounds for mosquitoes have been identified around schools and religious places in many areas. The Director of the National Dengue Control Unit, Dr. Nalin Aryaratna, said 66,652 dengue cases have been reported in Sri Lanka so far this year. That came to you in Watchlight in World News Headlines. Manila says China Coast Guard hit Philippine ship. The United Nations Forum says toys are a much larger contributor to electronic waste. Meta apologizes for adding terrorist to the biographies of some Instagram users, describing themselves as Palestinian. The Philippines has accused China's Coast Guard of colliding with a Filipino supply boat in the South China Sea. The Filipino vessel was on its way Sunday to a Philippine outpost in the Second Thomas Shoal, where tensions have escalated in recent weeks. Manila said Beijing's dangerous blocking maneuvers endangered the safety of the Filipino crew. However, China said the Philippines deliberately stirred up trouble. Chinese and Philippine ships have routinely played cat and mouse around the shoal as a handful of Filipino troops on the outpost, a marooned and crumbling Navy ship, require monthly rations. But Filipino authorities say China has grown more aggressive since Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. took office in June 2022. Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. took office in June 2022 and sought closer military ties with Washington. The United Nations says toys are a much larger contributor to electronic waste. Making a statement to mark the International E-Waste Day on the 14th of October, the UN Waste, Electrical and Electronic Equipment Forum said 9 billion kilograms of e-waste are thrown away every year, worth nearly $10 billion. The UN said around one-third of this waste comes from children's toys containing hidden electronics, some 3.2 billion kilograms. The UN estimates that 844 million vapes are also thrown away every year. The UN Forum added that very few people seem to realize that many common items they dispose of contain e-waste. According to the Forum globally, just 17% of e-waste is collected and recycled, although in some areas that is far higher. Meta has apologized for adding terrorist to the biographies of some Instagram users describing themselves as Palestinian. Meta said it fixed a problem that briefly caused inappropriate Arabic translations in some of its products. The platform has also faced accusations of suppressing content voicing support for Palestinians during the Israel-Gaza conflict. Some users say they have been shadow banned on Instagram over pro-Palestinian posts. This is when a platform intervenes to make sure posts do not appear in other people's feeds. The users claim 24-hour posts on stories reflecting the conflict have had fewer views than others and that their accounts cannot be found as easily in search. In world news headlines once again, Manila says China Coast Guard hit Philippine ship. The United Nations Forum says toys are a much larger contributor to electronic waste. Meta apologizes for adding terrorist to the biographies of some Instagram users describing themselves as Palestinian.
Development News.
The Minister of Agriculture, Mahinda Amaraveera, has instructed the ministry to provide the necessary facilities for the cultivation of maize in 3 districts of the island this Maha season. Accordingly, the distribution of hybrid maize seeds required for the cultivation of 40,000 acres of maize in the 3 districts of Hambantota, Anuradhapura and Monragala started on Friday. Under the program, maize seeds were distributed free of charge at Angunukola Palassa at the Agrarian Service Centre with the participation of the Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Mahinda Amaraveera. The ministry said due to the lack of maize for animal feed, the production of meat, eggs and milk was hampered last year.
Sports News is brought to you by Shakti. Refresh your mind and body with Shakti Energy Drink. 350 rupees only. Available at island-wide leading groceries and supermarkets. Shakti. Taste the power.
Sri Lanka avoided becoming victims of another Netherlands upset to record their first victory of the 2023 World Cup in Lucknow. The Dutch, who shocked South Africa on Tuesday, recovered from 91 for 6 to post 262 all out thanks to 70 from Sebra Engelbrecht and 59 by Logan van Beek. Sri Lanka were 52 for 2 and then 104 for 3 when Pathum Nisanka fell for 54, only to be steadied by Sadira Samaravikrama and Charit Akalanka. Asalanka was bowled 44 by Aryan Dutt. A third wicket for the off-spinner with 83 is still required, but Samaravikrama remained to manage the chase and end 91 not out. Despite some curiously low progress as they neared their target, Sri Lanka completed with win with 5 wickets and 10 deliveries in hand. Sri Lanka are the last of the 10 teams in the tournament to register their first win. They joined the Dutch on 2 points outside the top 4 in the group table. Sri Lanka move on to meet England in Bangalore on Thursday, reuniting head coach Chris Silverwood with the side he led between 2019 and 2022.
Shakti. Refresh your mind and body with Shakti Energy Drink. 350 rupees only. Available at island-wide leading groceries and supermarkets. Shakti. Taste the power.
Go ekak thiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyamata set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekata niyamata set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Cleantech Private Limited has announced the opening of their new e-waste and recyclables collection centre at Sampath Pierce in Rajagiriya. The company is one of the foremost provider of integrated waste management solutions in Sri Lanka. The company said the centre will collect electronic e-waste and recyclables, providing a convenient and environmentally responsible disposable solution for residents and businesses in the area. The collection centre was recently opened with the participation of the Commissioner of the Sri Jayawardena Pudukkottai Municipal Council and representatives from the Ministry of Environment. Additionally, representatives from the Western Province Waste Management Authority, the Central Environment Authority and Cleantech Private Limited joined the event.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyamata set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekata niyamata set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
And now in economic news, the Fisheries Ministry is to develop a specialised investment zone in the northern province which will be dedicated for the fishing industry. State Minister for Fisheries P.L. Nishant announced strategic endeavour aims to attract investments related to the fisheries sector, fostering economic growth and generating substantial employment opportunities for the citizens of the industry. The State Minister added the proactive measures that have already been initiated to combat the network of intermediaries who have profited unjustly at the expense of both the fishing industry and consumers.
Weather report.
The Met Department has issued separate amber level weather advisories for severe lightning and heavy rain in several provinces, as well as for strong winds and rough seas to be in effect until 11:30 p.m. today. The department said thunder showers accompanied by severe lightning are likely to occur at several places in the central, Sabaragama, north central, east and Nuva provinces. According to the department, there may be temporary localized strong winds during the thunder showers. The general public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by lightning activity. It also said the atmospheric conditions are favourable for thunderstorms at most of the places of the island during the evening or night. Heavy showers above 100 millimetres are likely at some places in the central, Sabaragama, Uva and eastern provinces. And now the main points of this news broadcast once again. The Prime Minister is to initiate a program to streamline trade with China's Yunnan province. The body of a Sri Lankan woman recovered from among the rubble of a destroyed building in Lebanon. Minister Prasanna Ranavira says the changing policy plannings with the change of governments negatively affect development. Air rifles issued to farmers to ward off monkeys and giant squirrels from damaging their crops. The Examinations Department says that the results of the GCE Ordinary Level Examination will probably be released by mid-November. Meta apologizes for adding terrorist to the biographies of some Instagram users describing themselves as Palestinian. That concludes this news broadcast. You're with Radio Sri Lanka.